Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of RE Radar. Once again, I'm your host and realtor, Nathan Matheson. And it's a new month, which what does that mean? Well, it's time to do the usual recap of last month. And then this time, I'm also going to throw in a little sales prep tips at the end for anyone who might be thinking about selling in 2026. So without further ado, we're just going to jump right into it and take a look at the stats of the Seattle real estate market in December. As always, what do we start off here on RE Radar? Well, we start off looking at the price because let's face it, that's what everybody cares about most, price, right? And well, in December in Seattle, the price took a dip, as it always does. Now, it was a larger drop than usual, though, looking at the residential and condominium sales median price. In November, that median sale price, residential and condo, was 862,000. And then in December, it dropped 10% down to 775,000, which is also down 6.1% from 2024 December. Now, before you panic though and freak out, a real key in figuring out if 2026 is going to have a price dip is looking at what happens in January. As median sale price in January of 2025 was 770,000. The last few years, January has had a lower price than December. However, from 2017 to 2020, January actually increased compared to December. So people have been saying that now that we're getting out of the COVID era market, we're going to be getting back into that pre-COVID real estate market, the more normal traditional market here in Seattle. Well, it seems like January might be a key figure in looking at and pointing out to see if that trend is going in the right direction. So we're just going to have to wait and see another month to see what takes place over this current month we're in and figure out if prices keep dropping from December or if they pick back up a little bit. So keep an eye out for that next month. Now, also of note, if I do just highlight residential and don't have condos in it, median price for December was 890,000, and that is up 1.7% from December in 2024. So, as always, real estate, what is it? I say it all the time, it is situational. It is situationally dependent, and an actual house is, of course, going to be much more attractive than a condominium. Now, the December market, though, wasn't all doom and gloom. There were a number of statistics that really shine and kind of paint a more positive picture for the health of the overall real estate market as we get into 2026. December saw an 8.2% increase in new listings compared to December 2024. It also saw a 28% increase in homes on the market at the end of the month, along with a 21.8% increase in pending sales. So it's not just like there's more homes coming onto the market, it's actually there's more buyers out there and they're getting under contract than last December, which is a good thing. So yes, prices, well, they took a little bit of a dip, but remember, when you isolate then just residential homes, that number is actually still up year over year. So real estate prices for homes are still going up. And then when you highlight those other stats showing a much more healthy amount of homes coming onto the market, along with buyers actually getting under contract still, it does mean that these buyers, they're getting under contract because, well, they feel like it's a little bit more fair on their side. Buyers have a little more negotiating powers. Buyers don't have to jump the gun always. So buyers are feeling a little more comfortable as we get into 2026, which is a great thing. As for so long, it's been just a huge seller's market, so favorable to sellers for years and years in Seattle. So buyers, they're getting a little bit more power back coming to the market, and the December pending sales data backs that up. Now, the end of year real estate market, what does it do? Well, it of course shapes the new year. It shapes the rest of 2026. It shapes what is upcoming for that real estate calendar as real estate. What else do I say? It's not just situationally dependent, it's also seasonal. So with winter and the end of the year months, it's always going to be the worst median price wise. It's always going to be the worst listing wise. This essentially is setting the bottom of the real estate market. And from this, the real estate market then builds and builds and grows until a peak is seen over May. Until then, after May, it slowly tapers off until the end of the year, then resets it and restarts the cycle going back up. So it's always a cyclical cycle, just going in circles right there. So having that listing data and the homes under contract being better than the previous year is a great sign for the rest of 2026 being better than its counterpart in 2025. So that is good news right there as we get into the new year. Now, transitioning out of the market recap, it is time to touch on what I recommend people to do if you're thinking about selling your home in 2026. So if you want to sell, then it's going to take some time. You don't just one day decide you're going to sell and the next week you got your home on the market. There are some rare cases where that happens, and it can work if your home's in, a great condition. But for the most part, people are going to take a few months to get ready and prep for getting that home on the market. So here is going to be a quick little rundown of what my best tips and practices are for you if you are thinking about selling in the next year. And following these tips and tricks right here can often lead to you having that smoothest, best possible selling experience, which, well, I'm guessing everyone wants that. First, what I would say is you kind of need to switch that mindset. When you're looking to sell your home, you want it to be the best. You want it to be able to appeal to the most broad audience. So how do you do that? Well, you're going to want to start looking at it like it's not yours, like you're a buyer. Flip that mindset from owner to buyer, because when you are in that mindset of being a buyer, then you can start the process of identifying those key strengths and key weaknesses as well in your own home. And when you identify a weakness, think like a buyer. How would you fix that situation? What would you do to mediate that issue or flip it into a positive? You don't want weaknesses, you want positives and strengths. And then, of course, when you do identify a strength of your home, you're going to want to figure out, okay, how can I highlight it? How can I make it more noticeable and clear? And so when a buyer comes into my home, they're instantly going to see that strength as well, because that, of course, would then make it so they're more likely to buy the home. If you get in there and you're instantly seeing all these positive aspects, a buyer is going to be happy and like it and maybe buy it. So let's look at a couple of examples for this. Let's say you're walking around your home and you notice that it's just always dark. It's dark in every room you go into. There's just not good lighting throughout your house. Well, that's clearly going to be a big weakness, because as well, people love a bright, welcoming home. So having a dark, dim, unwelcoming home is obviously a weakness and something you would want to try to fix before getting that home on the market. So how do you do that? How do you add more light to a home? Well, perhaps it's switching out certain light bulbs that are maybe dimmer, put in something brighter, put in something that can better illuminate your home. Or maybe you swap out a few old school light fixtures for more modern ones that perhaps are able to shine and spread the light a little better throughout your home. Those right there are some relatively cheap jobs that could instantly make your home present better and be more welcoming and likely to sell quicker. Now, let's say when you're walking through your home, you realize how just awesome and appealing your kitchen is. Your kitchen is the star of the show. Well, let's make it the star of the listing then. And you might be wondering, well, how the heck can you do that? It's a kitchen. What are you going to do to make it the star of this listing? Well, it is going to be all about marketing. And this comes down to your real estate agent, as if the kitchen is one of the better features that your home offers, it should be front and center in all the marketing, with multiple photos of the kitchen, highlighting different areas, angles of it, have flyers with it on it, Instagram videos kind of highlighting the kitchen, making posts showing the kitchen must be front and center, so that if someone stumbles upon that listing, one of the first things they're going to notice is this kitchen and how awesome and appealing it is. And that can then lead them to come to your home, check out the rest of it. And maybe if the rest of it checks the boxes, then boom, bam, wham, you got yourself a sale right there. Now, maybe you do this walkthrough and you just don't really see anything horrible, but you also don't really see anything amazing. You've got what I would say an average home, or what you're thinking is an average home. So what that means is you're going to want to essentially improve those mundane aspects. You're going to want to improve the basics, make it just a stronger set of bones for that potential future buyer to come in there and see, okay, it works. It's going to be good. I'd like it. I'd enjoy my time here. And then I can update these things myself. And when you are going about that, there are a few different components of a home that I would lean on you focusing on if you just want to do some minor-esque updates and details, not some major, massive remodels. Now, the order I'm going to list these for you, it's not exactly the order I'd prioritize them in as well. It's going to always depend on what your home is, the condition of it, and what these factors are for your home. But just starting off the list is paint. A fresh coat of paint can really do wonders for a home. It can really brighten up a space, like we touched on with if you're walking through your home and you notice it's just dark everywhere. Another option, instead of switching out lights, well, maybe if your home's painted black, or it's a dark burgundy color inside, well, that is going to naturally darken up the surroundings. So another way aside from light fixtures is a fresh coat of paint and make it this neutral color that's a little brighter and lighter. And when someone walks into that space, it's going to be a little more inviting and welcoming for them. Now, another huge one that I'm always looking for and recommending is the idea of refinishing your hardwood floors. Year after year, every list I see that comes out talking about what remodels are the best return on your investment. Well, every year, refinishing your hardwood floors is near the top at 147%. Now, the cost of refinishing those hardwoods is typically here at $4 to $6 per square foot. And it really makes sense why this has such a high ROI, as in a house, if you're walking around and it has a nice floor, well, it's going to elevate everything else in that house and make it seem much better, because guess what? Everywhere you're standing in that home, every corner you turn with that floor, it's going to be in sight. It's in your vision. So you're almost always seeing the floor. And so if you're walking around and this floor is beat up, scratched up everywhere, you're kind of going to have a bad impression throughout the home. Versus if you're walking around and everywhere you see this floor is just glistening, bright, nice, looks clean, looks almost brand new, then you're going to have a better overall impression of that house. And that's kind of the same case and reasoning behind the fresh coat of paint. As what are you always doing when you're walking through the home? You're always seeing the walls and the paint. You're always seeing that. So if you're walking through the home and the paint's scratched up, dim, bad, just doesn't look like good quality, dirty, old, then the home, that's the impression of the home: dirty, old, nasty. Versus if it's a fresh coat of paint, light, boom, you're going to walk through the place and it's just going to be nice, inviting throughout your whole time, especially with the floors. You combine that, everyone's seeing something that's nice and new. Now, another piece of advice I'm giving sellers is to start the process of decluttering early. You're going to need to get rid of a lot of stuff likely, especially if you've lived in that home for 10 plus years. It is going to be a lot of work emptying out your house. But if you do want to sell your home for top dollar and quickest, the best move is always going to be remove all your personal belongings, everything you got, hire a stager to bring in furniture, artwork, and have this person essentially come into your home and curate it, design it, interior design, exterior as well, for it to be the most appealing to the most broad range of audience right there. That's what a stager is going to do. They're going to come in there and highlight your best features and make the home appeal to a great audience. And you can give this a Google and you will find countless surveys and data sets that show how a home that is staged is going to sell much quicker and for a higher price than a home that is not staged. So staging really is another key aspect in getting that home ready to list. And really, those are kind of the starting points for what I'm first going to be recommending to a majority of sellers. Those are the general fixes that can instantly lead to an increase in value in your home with a little less work or less commitment than, say, a full kitchen remodel or full bathroom remodel. Now, don't get me wrong. Sometimes those can be beneficial and those could be needed in some cases. But also remember this: it might be best at times to save some of your money and not do a $20,000 bathroom remodel or a $50,000 kitchen remodel, and just price it according to with this older bathroom or older kitchen. As again, maybe you do a bathroom remodel and a kitchen remodel and it's this brand new kitchen, brand new bathroom, but it might not be the style this certain buyer was looking for. So had you not done that remodel, kept it in a slightly lower price range, then you might have a wider audience of buyers coming to look at it because they understand, yes, the kitchen and bathroom, okay, it might need some work, but at this price, I'm comfortable with buying it, and then I can remodel it and do the work that I want in my style. So yes, kitchen and bathroom remodels, they can be great. They can add value to your home. But again, sometimes if you don't want to, or maybe you don't have the money, don't worry about listing a home with a little bit of an unupdated kitchen or an unupdated bathroom. Just remember, you're going to want to price that right, because it's always going to be a balancing act of doing some work to improve your home, but also not doing so much that it's then going to pigeonhole your home into a listing where it's only a very few amount of clients would be looking for it. You want as wide range of clients as possible. So those right there are all things that you should take note of when you are thinking of selling. And as always, if you do have a personal question or want some assistance on a specific situation you're dealing with, I'm always happy to chat through those situations. So feel free to reach out to me and I'm happy to help. But until then, This is all the time I've got for y'all today. So thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. I'm Nathan Matheson. Peace.